Michelle from EverythingMom.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about self-esteem. A few weeks ago, Dove invited me out to a terrific event called the Girls 20 Summit, where they were hosting a conversation about self-esteem in girls and women. 21 delegates from across the world, with girls ages 18 to 20, came together in Toronto to share what self-esteem meant to them. Dove gave them the opportunity to give advice to their 13-year-old self on what self-esteem meant to them. Have a peek.
I'm Leah from Canada, and I think what I would tell my 13-year-old self is hear what the people around you are saying, but listen to yourself. So it's a really hard distinction to make because you're 13, so in Canada that means you're going into high school, and as soon as you get to high school, people are going to start talking to you about university and what you're doing next and what you're going to be when you grow up, and it's a little stressful, and there's going to be so many people, including your parents, telling you to study math or study science or work harder, and you need to hear that advice because those people have been through a lot and they have a lot to offer you, but you need to listen to what you want to do. And so if everyone's telling you to study math and you don't like math and you want to study art, because what you want to do will get you to where you want to be. And if you don't know where that is right now, that's okay. You don't need to have a plan, but if you follow what you're interested in, then you'll get to where you need to be, and you're going to have a lot more fun getting there if you're doing something you like. So just listen to what you want to do and don't stress if you don't know what that is yet.
Okay, hi everyone, it's Michelle from EverythingMom.com. I'm here talking to Jane Harris, who is the delegate from Australia. And she told us earlier some really great advice that she's going to offer to her 13-year-old self. And I just wonder if you'd tell that story again, because it's really
Sure. Well, when I was about to start high school, a friend of ours who's an educator gave some advice to my mother. She shared it with me later, and I would like to share it with my 13-year-old self and with you. And that was that there's a pattern for all girls going through high school. And I went to an all-girls school, it was especially prevalent, but everything in the middle will look like it will fall apart. As girls, we seem to have a pathological need to hate half the population when we're growing up, but we snap out of it. So at the beginning of high school, you're getting a lot of advice, you're getting a lot of pressures to look a certain way, act a certain way, and you're struggling to really identify yourself. In the middle, everyone's got a group, all the groups get mixed up, we have our fights, we have our squabbles, but by the end we realize that we're all just girls, we're all the same, we're not that bad, we can get along, and coming here, meeting 21 girls from 21 different nations, we find that we really are all girls, and what worries us most is what shoes we're wearing and whether we have a hairbrush. So I guess that I would like to tell my 13-year-old self to know that everything will work out in the end. It may be a little rocky in the middle, but to just watch that and be a stabilizing force if possible.
Opportunity to have a conversation with Jess Wiener, who is a self-esteem expert. Most of the conversations being held that day were about self-esteem in young girls, in 13-year-olds. And my questions for her were more around self-esteem in mothers, in ourselves, and how that relates to our daughters. Take a peek on what she had to say about self-esteem. Hi everyone, it's Michelle from EverythingMom.com, and I'm here speaking with Jess Wiener, who's just given us an amazing talk on self-esteem. I'm going to have a conversation with her about something that's really important to me, and that is self-esteem in mothers. And for those of us mothers who really struggle with self-esteem, how can we help our daughters?
Number one big good question, right? I think sometimes too that moms forget that they don't, just because they're moms, they're not impervious to having those doubts.
And we think we are. We think we have to be perfect.
I do, and I think we put a lot of pressure societally on our moms to think that they're supposed to have it all together. So I think the thing I would tell moms, number one, is you don't have it all together, and that's okay. And that's okay, because when you allow yourself to be authentic, you show your daughter what it's like to be vulnerable. And you show your daughter and your son and your family what it's like to be real. And I think that that goes a long way. And I think so when mom can get out of her own way, that helps a lot. But also I think moms have to remember, outside of this label of moms, they're also women with lives and humans, and they have to have other relationships. And I know that can be hard, especially when you're raising younger ones, but to find the things that still fill you up is about being a good human being, and then that will make you a better mom. So I think it's just about that sort of the balance and the wholeness of who you are.
Right. And how do we manage those negative thoughts? I see my children often say, oh, I'm no good at this, or I'm no good at that. And as moms, we have that conversation as well and say, oh, you know, I didn't do that very well, or I didn't do this very well. How do we snap out of those negative self-talk conversations?
I wish it was just as simple as a snap of the
You don't
fingers.
have to snap for us.
No, I wish. I would be really rich if I had the snap solution, but here's what I do have.
Okay.
I think that there's sort of the 3-step rule, which is that when you have made a mistake or when something didn't go the way that you want, you know, you're kind of tend to put the critical voice on.
Yes.
And then that critical voice actually transfers a lot to our kids, right? So a lot of times we just hear our own voice come flying out at our kids, and we say, oh my God, I never thought I would say that to my children.
Yes.
So 1 is forgive yourself.
Okay.
Big one for moms. Forgive yourself. 2 is listen to what you really want to say inside, right?
Okay.
So initially we want to be critical and say, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe you did that. But listen to what you really want to say, which is, ooh, I really want to make this better, or how can I fix this, or let me help this situation. So forgive, listen, and then take action. So move on past the moment, the mistake, the whatever, and give yourself a new step of action to take. Because when you start to do something else and then you find success in that, it erases the moment that just happened. So it's just really about this kind of give and take. Forgive and listen and take action and give yourself a break.
And help our children.
Yeah, and I think that helps our children. I think sometimes we think that we're supposed to like give them this direct line of advice about self-esteem, and what I hear from girls a lot all over the world is that they really want to experience their moms having self-esteem. So just be that person, and don't always worry about giving her that teach moment, but like also allowing her life to give her those teach moments.
Okay. Wow, thank you, Jess. It's just been a really great conversation with you and with all the delegates today. Thanks so much for being
welcome.
Okay, thank you. So I got back to the hotel that day and I was feeling so inspired. But there was a piece of me that was kind of struggling with it, my own sense of self-esteem. I certainly ride that roller coaster. I have my ups and I have my downs. So I tweeted out, who out there rides the self-esteem roller coaster? And everybody, stacks and stacks of replies came back. Me, I do, all the time. One person said that she had a very healthy sense of self-esteem, although sometimes it shook a little bit. So I knew that I had to do something. My background is life coaching, so I have gone out and I've hired a coach to take me through 12 weeks of self-exploration in order to increase my self-esteem. And what I'm going to do is share my journey and what I've learned through the community at EverythingMom.com in hopes of inspiring everybody out there to also increase their self-esteem. I want to thank Dove for being such an incredible inspiration to girls and women across the nation. What they're doing to increase self-esteem has been a life changer for me and thousands and thousands and thousands of other girls and women out there. Thank you very much. Join the Dove movement to inspire girls and women in your life. Do it for your daughters, do it for your friends, but most importantly, do it for yourself. www.dovemovement.com.